We have a young member. I don't want to be scaring somebody in the audience. It's now 6 p.m. Wednesday, August 17th, 2022, and I'm calling the regular Belle Plaine City Council meeting into session. Should be noted those in attendance are Councilman Peck, Councilperson Schlusselman, Councilperson Morrow, Councilperson Malcolm. Absent on vacation is Councilperson Landon. City Administrator Beck's here, Assistant City Attorney Gage Kinsler's here, the Mayor's here, and City Clerk Sandra Walton's here. I'd like to remind all in attendance, including the council and staff, to please shut off your cell phones or put them on the mute mode. And with that being said, let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That being said, let's move to approval of the consent agenda, the council minutes August 3rd, 2022, and bills received. I'm hearing from my clerk, there's something's got to be fixed in
the very first paragraph of the minutes, when it talks about who was present, I have Assistant City Attorney Jennifer Zarodnik, and it should have been Gage Kinsler.
Congratulations on your promotion.
Any other corrections or changes to those minutes? If not, I'll look for a motion to approve those.
I move to approve the consent agenda, council minutes of August 3rd, 2022, and bills received.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Your last chance for discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 4-0. At this point in time, that we allow resident comments. If you have a comment to make to the council about tonight's agenda, other than things that if you're here to bid, you can do your bidding when we get to that part of the public hearing. But anything else, you can come to the podium, state your name and address so it goes in the minutes, and we'll go from there.
Alan DeVoe, 866 Avenue, Belle Plaine. I just wanted to kind of give you, I missed the meeting 2 weeks ago when you talked about my property, so I put together a more thorough, so you can look at it and ask me any questions you have.
Thank you.
So if you have any questions, or if you want me to answer any, I sure can. I guess I just appreciate it if you could help me and work out this situation, so.
Well, I think that's what they were really looking for, Al, is demolition dates.
So.
And I
just said,
I won't overstep my bounds, but I think with the council, these dates will be satisfactory, yes.
And I put down some dates for the council meeting, so that way, I can tell you how the work's coming, so.
But if everything's done by November 1st, now I can't speak for the whole council. So council, if you're looking for quicker results than that.
Yeah, I just think that last time when you responded,
Yeah, and I had
didn't have a
I
lot
had
of
something
detail.
going on that day and night, so I could not be here, so I apologize.
Yeah.
And somebody helped me put this together a little bit differently, and more thorough, okay?
Well, this
And
gives
I
the,
appreciate that.
this gives the dates and it also tells who you're looking,
Yep.
or working with.
Yep.
So that's basically what we
Okay.
thought we needed.
Okay,
Questions, council? Okay, no, thank
Okay,
you,
thank
Al,
you.
that's what we're looking.
appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks, Mel.
Any other one, any other person who would like to come up? That includes those that haven't developed speaking skills yet. You're allowed to say anything you want, whenever you want. Okay, we're gonna move the chief's report to after the public hearings. But I do want to dispose of higher agenda item number 7, discuss for approval the St. Joseph and St. Michael's Knights of Columbus Tootsie Roll Drive collection from 7:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. on Saturday, September 10th, 2022 at the corner of Highway 21 and 7th Avenue in Belle Plaine. They've done this for I don't know how many years, so that means avoid driving through that intersection if you don't want to be bugged every time.
Is this the Iowa State thing?
That's the Iowa State. Looking for a motion.
I make a motion to approve the St. Joseph
St. Joseph.
and St. Michael Knights of Columbus Tootsie Roll Drive collection.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Okay, we'll go to agenda item number 8, which is a public hearing to take bids on the property at 1606 7th Avenue, Belle Plaine, Iowa. Hang on as I turn to my resolution stuff. So the hearing's now open and I'm looking for a bid on this property on 7th Avenue of $5,000. Yes,
5,000.
okay. Ryder's got a bid of $5,000. Any other bids? They have to go up in $250 increments. Well, we don't have somebody in the back of the room to push him higher.
That's why he sits in that room.
Should have one of Beck's kids coming home. I'll go 5,250. My dad said I could have something for my birthday. Well, seeing no other bids, I am going to close the hearing. Go to a resolution number 220806 that authorizes final disposition of the real estate at 1607 7th Avenue. I'm sure you've read the resolution, council. Any questions on that resolution? You'll be selling this property for $5,000 by quitclaim deed, and I'll turn it over to our lawyers to take care of handling the sale of this, final sale of this property. If there are no questions or comments, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 220806 to the sale to graders of 1606 7th Avenue in Belle Plaine.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Last chance for discussion, council. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Do you guys want to get in contact with him?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, the lawyers will contact you, but it will be your property, and you now have set my personal record for whatever I've sold the property to. I've sold all the way from $10 to $100.
terms and conditions.
Probably not. Steve, pull a copy of that resolution out of extra packet over there and give him a copy of it so he can read, and then get one for Maury and his wife. Okay, let's move on to, you did the resolution B, so we'll go to agenda item number 9. I'll open the second public hearing to take bids for the property at 910 8th Avenue, Belle Plaine, with an opening bid of $5,000 is required. The property will be sold as is by quitclaim deed and no abstract will be provided. The property is sold as is and the environmental conditions of the site is unknown. Property will be sold for, and that will be determined in a few minutes. Purchaser shall be responsible for payment of all costs of sale, including but not limited to costs for publication, recording of all sales procedure and documents of title. City shall retain all existing easements on, under, over the property as needed for utilities. Earns money of $500 to be paid to Cole Morgan, Schlew, and Zarodnik Trust account within 24 hours of the passage of this resolution. Should, I don't sell property. That part of the resolution. So we are into a public hearing on the property at 910 8th Avenue. Is there an opening bid of $5,000?
Open.
Okay, we have a bid, Mr. Bryant, for $5,000. Is there anyone else that wants to bid on this property? I see the Beck kid out in the hallway waving for $5,250. Well, seeing no further bids, I will accept that, close the hearing, and I'll move to item B, discuss for approval resolution 220802, a resolution that authorizes the final disposition of the real estate at 910 8th Avenue. Council, questions, comments? I'll take a motion.
Make a motion to approve resolution 220805 for final disposition of real estate at 910 8th Avenue.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Last chance for discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. And you saw that they've got a copy of that resolution, so that property is now yours for all practical purposes. I'll let the lawyers take care of anything else with it. Okay, before I go back to the chief, I'm gonna get these other 2 resolutions done, and then we'll come back to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you back there. We appreciate it. I'm sure you're happy to get that into your hands.
Thanks for helping us get that tore down, Maury. That we wouldn't have been able to do without you.
Thank you, folks.
Can I ask a question? Just out of curiosity. With these lots, they would have to be joined to, for example, with Maury. That would have to become one lot in order for them to put up a garage on this one they just bought.
Correct.
Okay.
If until we get the code written so that they can
Right.
put a garage.
In the back third, is that what?
Well, except see, this is a prime example of what we discussed if you got your lot with your house on it, now you buy the lot next to you, are we gonna allow them to put a garage that runs from the front all the way to the back? Well, if it's one combined lot, but we have to write that code so it fits that situation.
It must have been that way at one point in time, because that's the way my rental property is, the garage on a separate lot. Actually, there's two garages on that lot.
Unless there was a house on it before. Not really sure.
No.
Well, we gotta get it back to that way. So if we have an open lot, then they're gonna build on the back third unless they combine it with the lot they're currently on together, then, and we just have to figure out how to word that and get it in the code.
Right, we have to make sure that Maury understands what we're getting at. I mean, once we get that, I mean, he understands, because we don't want to be putting up a garage before we change anything.
Well, but there is a procedure to get around that.
Right,
He can,
but
the
that's.
last gentleman was explained, he was to put the zoning meeting together and said, we'll bring you to zoning. If that doesn't work, we'll have Board of Arbitration set for the next night. If that doesn't work, we'll throw it off to the council, and somebody chose to ignore that situation.
There wasn't a combination there either.
No,
No, it's not a time.
I think the Board of Arbitration probably would have given permission to tear down and build at the same time. Yeah, I suppose it wouldn't have hurt to get a phone call sometime and explain that to him.
I know we've went over it before because he had questions about it, but I'm happy to circle back.
Have the code changed, then we'll get him through the procedure to do what he wants to do.
Thank you.
Well, except
Or
it's
if he combines those
is
lots, it
it-
doesn't matter.
in current code, yeah, current code would have to go
It just combine lots.
through, but if he didn't combine the lots.
He told me that was
put a
an
garage on their own.
He told me that was his intention because it's a non-conforming lot anyway. It's very small. But I will reach back out to him and just confirm all those and the steps, and I don't think they were shovel ready with the garage anyway.
Well, they need to get that consolidated as soon as we get it sold. Let's quickly go through 10 and 11. Discuss for possible approval resolution 220803, a resolution proposing to dispose of real estate property and publish a notice to public hearing. Resolution deals with the property at 902 13th Street, minimum bid of $5,000. Public hearing to be held September 21st, 2022 at the Belle Plaine City Council meeting. Discussion on this one. This is the one across from the Catholic Church. Need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 220803 on the proposing to dispose of real estate property 902 13th Street with a minimum bid of $5,000.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Discuss for possible approval, resolution 220804, resolution proposing to dispose of real estate property and publishing notice to a public hearing. Resolution deals with the property at 1207 16th Street with a minimum bid of $5,000. Public hearing to be held September 21st, 2022 at the Belle Plaine City Council. Discussion?
That's the Brian Burns house. The
Yeah,
house.
That's who owned it. Yeah, that's actually a pretty nice, decent piece of property to build on. Unless you don't like,
Hills.
well, if you don't like signs, because Vista, and you look out, there's a whole series of signs along Joe's back fence. I need a motion.
I move to approve resolution 220804, proposing to dispose of real property at 1207 16th Street with a minimum bid of $5,000.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Chance for discussion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Okay, let's go back to Chief Hudson's report.
Okay, we got 3 bids for the drywall repair that we previously discussed. The mayor has them. We might as well just start with that.
You guys looked at them. One is priced at $1104.30. Another one is priced at $2,000, and the last one was priced at $798. Who do you want the chief to hire?
Can I see them just one more
Sure.
time?
What happened there?
It's old damage from water, leaky roof, probably, I don't know, 12 years ago, something like that. Never got fixed.
And they're all good workers. Had 2 of the 3 do stuff.
Okay, on these 2, Midwest Drywall has remove and re-insulate, and this one does not. I think you're gonna run into some insulation issues.
Probably.
But this one don't have it on there. Just bringing it up, that's gonna be an extra expense on top of that.
If the insulation that's being referred to is above the ceiling, there ain't none.
There ain't none?
Nope.
Okay,
It's just the upstairs of where we have
Just
storage.
rafters and drywall. And they didn't climb up in there to see that, so you wouldn't have known.
okay. Yeah, I kind of want to look, I wanted to look at the details on it. I just kind of brushed over it earlier, thank you.
Well, I'll still leave that up to you guys. Which one do you want to have the chief?
As long as you're confident that they understand, they all understand because they responded in different ways with different amounts of detail. As long as you're confident that they understand the project equally.
Because one just had 2 pieces of drywall and someone else had 4, right? So
It's got 6. This one's got 5. And this one has 4. So your cheapest bid's got the most drywall.
I think we get it.
it's full, is it fully?
There's not a guy on here that wouldn't do a good job.
Right.
No.
We're,
The less tape and mud you can use, the better off you are. So, because that's less than a crack later, if it would crack or develop another leak. So the more drywall you use, the less taping and mudding you have to do. And it depends how you cut it, place it. Was you with them when they did it?
2 of them.
Only one put down hours.
Have you worked with Foley before?
Yeah, I've worked with Midwest Drywall, I've worked with Foley, I've not, I know of Larry's work, and like the mayor said,
They all three were
any
really.
three of them are gonna do a great job.
Foley did my bathroom, Midwest Drywall did my office. Well,
I've had Larry at my house a couple times. They all do a really good job, so.
If the one bid does not include installing insulation, do we need to find out what that bid would then be?
There's no insulation in there.
And we're not putting any in?
No.
Oh, okay.
because there's none in there currently.
Would it be warmer if there was?
Would help.
Maybe.
I mean, once you.
How often is that back room, is that used? I mean, is that occupied where
No,
it's gonna matter?
no. We don't spend a lot of time back there.
I would say we go with the Foley bid then.
Is that all right with everyone? Then give it to Foley. And they're bidding this out as being October, November type project.
Yeah, once, they want to do indoor work.
Once the outside's
Yeah.
done.
Okay, chief, you want to take care of it?
Okay, put 4 new tires on our Silverado last week. It was, tread was wearing unevenly up front, to the point where they were probably not roadworthy, so I went ahead and replaced them. The back ones they were just right there, right at the wear bar, so I went ahead and replaced all 4, and then had an alignment done. Let's see. Talked to the mayor and Steve briefly in regards to the Tahoe. It's just over 100,000 and it's due for trade-in, whatever. They told me to talk to you folks, see if you wanted to go ahead and do that. You can trade it in, we can sell it outright on Gov Deals. That was probably the best bet. That's worked really well in the past, but ultimately it's up to you guys.
What do you think you want to get? You want to get another Tahoe or?
I'd love to have another SUV, It's been a good vehicle. Still is a good vehicle.
You checked for the availability of a replacement Tahoe.
I know that Carl Chevrolet down in Ankeny has them on site. They're there. Whether we want to look at the other makes and solicit bids from some of the dealerships in the area. So,
Given the fact that we have a grant on the hook for this,
Mhm.
we'll have to have 3 bids to fulfill the requirements of the grant.
sounds good to me.
Did you get a hold of Tice and find out what they consider
Not yet.
their equivalent to Tahoe?
Not yet, but I can definitely do that. That's no problem.
Do you want to go ahead and start getting bids then and?
Bring them? Okay.
Yeah.
Because we're in that cycle, right, what we agreed to.
Well, and there's a grant to
Yeah.
apply, so.
Is the dealer here, is he officially a Chevrolet dealer now?
Yes,
Belle Plaine?
I think so, yeah.
yes.
So we could get one from Tice, one for their equivalent, one from Belplain Chevrolet or whatever they call
Yeah, and if you
themselves.
can, and if you can, I mean, you could always maybe go to Capper and Marengo,
Right,
you know.
You know,
Because
when we-
they both Ford and Chevrolet.
yeah.
I would check it because Ford is the only one that still builds a police vehicle. But find out what the availability is on delivery.
Mhm.
Because if the availability is next August,
2025.
then you're going, whoa. But yeah, start the procedure.
We'll start that probably on Monday. Let's see. Going through my chicken scratch here. Training budget. We have 2 officers that need to go to the academy this fiscal year. One is Andrew Markham. He starts next Friday. No, I'm sorry, next Monday. And then we'll be following that up with another one in spring, January, and just bringing it to your attention. But our training budget this year is only $7,800, and we're going to double that. Just doing this, so just want you guys to be aware of that. Mike Campbell graduates this coming Friday, and I'm not going to be able to attend. It'll be the first academy graduation that I can't go to. I have a medical procedure scheduled that day, so I will be out of commission most of the day on Friday.
Friday, like 2 days from now.
Yes. And I've got a disorderly house ordinance that I'm going to bring forward to you guys just to have you look at, consider, and we can discuss that at a future meeting. What it entails is police calls for service, repeated police calls for service at houses that, for example, drug houses, the houses of ill fame, whatever you want to refer that to. Other communities have them. I've got a couple of examples. And like I said, I'll bring you a couple of those and you can take a look at that.
Are these like rental houses or? are
They can be rentals, they can be whatever,
Okay.
you know. So, or, for example, if we have a home where the police have been called to, or we've had numerous instances of drug activities, substantiated drug activity,
Yeah.
not just suspected,
Right,
where we could hold the property owner liable regardless of whether it's a landlord or a property, the actual property owner that lives there.
I know Marion has done that.
I think it would be a valuable tool.
Yep.
I don't think that we want to encourage those folks to reside in our community, basically, to say the least. And just another tool in the tool belt. And that's what I got for you. But one other thing, we did Alice training today at the high school with all the school staff, all the teachers were there, Deputy Brandt from the sheriff's office, and then one of the other officers from Belplain attended as well. And there's going to be more of that to come, hopefully. Today was just basically not lecture, but I mean, Tyler presented his PowerPoint, and then we went over a few things. Hopefully here in the near future, we'll be doing some scenario-based training, school staff, nothing too crazy or outrageous, just to kind of get them thinking about things and the administration thinking about things. I told them that I will be, not me, the department will be making more of a presence to our schools this year in the mornings, down at the elementary, out to high school. Kids, not just necessarily me, on the other. Football games, home basketball games. That again last year. I think it's pretty well received. Just to kind of get them used to seeing us, comfortable around us. So that'll be coming up in school starts soon.
Do we need to budget airplane patrol next year?
Do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw those photos. Those were pretty good.
Steve, what day is it that we're doing a meet with the DOT down at the stoplights? Remember that right offhand?
No, and if I click on anything else, this live stream's gonna stop.
Well, I will send all of you guys advance notice of it. I'll send Chad advance notice of it. I'll send you advance. I want everybody we can get off the council, the school board, little kids down there crying, I don't care what, but I want the DOT to hear our beliefs on why that system is no good for there.
September 7th at 10 a.m.
So we'll be sending out notices on that, and I know what their answer is gonna be. The first answer is gonna be, let's go to 3-lane highway.
That'll just be more confusing than what it's worth.
And my argument to them is gonna be, why aren't we entitled to have back what we had there before duration? And then they'll come back and say, well, our accounts don't show it, but we'll go from there. But if we can have people there, because I had a long talk with Mrs. Cook in June, and she goes, those semis are coming so fast, or look so fast. She goes, I don't care if those yellow lights are flashing and I got a flashing stop sign. I'm not stepping out. I don't believe they're gonna stop. And I said, well, I need to have you express that to the DOT. And it makes perfect sense to at least let us go up to the Hawk system and then take this system we have and put it down at the Dollar General. Because we're gonna have to put a crosswalk down there. So we'll see, but we're gonna give it, this may be the last shot we'll get. But we're gonna give it a shot. So I want all our ducks there. And when they go, you have to educate your, how do you educate drivers from Minnesota that are driving the semi through here? Now, we have a lot of semis coming through that are out of county for sure. So,
It's only gonna get worse too with the 4-lane.
yeah, and that's what we keep trying to point out. And we have the insurance money to get the Hawk system now. We'll be sending you notices out on that. Anything for the chief? Okay. Let's go to agenda item number 12, final discussion on purchase siren for the west side of town. Gonna cost you $8,000. You want us to pursue it or not?
Where did we decide the location would be?
We'll call the lady that keeps complaining to me and ask her to put her in her backyard.
Okay, First Avenue.
Right in there.
What else, once we get it, what else do we have to do? Just
It's supposed to be for $8,000. They take it down, they bring it over and set it, and they retool it to fit our broadcast,
Okay.
which will be our broadcast from emergency man
First Avenue, north or south?
north.
And they do all it's 8,000 installed.
Yes.
It's the whole package.
Now, if I find out that, well, we forgot there are $6,000 worth of bolts that you gotta buy, and
Hiring an electrician. I mean, that's the only thing is there's their electrical line there that they hook into without having an extra fee.
that's all battery power.
Would this be on private property?
Don't know. Steve and I are gonna have to.
We'll probably have to see what the range is on it, because the one up at the former elementary school doesn't go that far, so we may not want it all the way on the edge of town, so we're broadcasting out into the woods, but put it over a couple of blocks. I don't know. And just see, ask them how many hundreds of feet this thing will, because after they're faint when you're in certain parts of town.
And I did, when I kept getting complaints, I went out there when we were testing ours. And if you aren't standing on First Street, if you aren't standing out in the yard with your ear pointed either direction, you can barely hear ours. And again, I'm gonna remind people though that the emergency management tells us that is not what you're supposed to rely on. Those sirens are only good for out in your outdoors. Otherwise, you're to rely on your emergency radios, your emergency broadcast on your cell phones, those types of places. But we're not going to get one for any cheaper than that.
No, when we had those replaced after the derecho, they were 30,000, something like that, weren't they? They were a lot.
Well, and I'm going to have Steve proceed with Scott Hansen and say, yeah, we want in, but we want to see something more in depth. And if you're lying to us that it's not 8,000, we aren't interested. And then we can start to explore, when he gets some details from Steve, we can start exploring, well, where do you stick it here?
Where's it at now, Steve?
Pardon?
Where is it at now? Where is the siren at now? Did you use one?
Palo.
These are a part of the Palo system.
Oh,
It's the nuclear power plant.
Yeah,
I see.
that were spread out all over Lynn and Benton
Sure.
County.
I was just curious how far.
I forget how many of them Cedar Rapids kept. And then several were left in Benton County, and the ones that are left, towns in Benton County were allowed to buy. And if what Benton County doesn't swoop up, Lynn County's gonna take.
I just think for the cost and for the type of storms that we've had, I think we're silly not to take advantage of it.
Do they have more than one available? If we could come up with the funding, like to put down at Franklin or down in between the two schools or something.
We'll ask Hanson when we get him on the phone.
Will do.
For new, that's a pretty good price. And more than likely, they're still gonna go up as years on.
Oh, God, it's just gonna be astronomical. I think if you tried to do the derecho thing, it'd probably be double. Now,
Yeah.
that's why I just, I just think we should take advantage of that. I mean, I know funding's tight on everything, but
but if it's an all-in cost, that's a pretty good deal.
yes, it is.
Well, I gotta put the council down on a Saturday morning with some styrofoam cups on Main Street. And work the crowd for some donation.
I'm gonna see.
I've seen how mean those Knights of Columbus guys are. I don't want to compete against them.
The Tootsie Rolls keep going. I've been through here before. Yeah, that's the same one you had last year. Give me some money. All right, we'll explore that in detail. Discuss for approval a Class B native wine permit with Sunday service for Cornerstone Apothecary at 731 12th Street. This is actually an ownership change. The store name will stay the same, but we have to make an official change for this to be changed in Des Moines. Motion?
I move to approve a Class B native wine permit with Sunday service for Cornerstone Apothecary.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? 4-0. Motion carries. You got your budget reports there. Trying to think if I changed the dates correctly. I think I did.
Yes, the things to point out, we have a pretty healthy negative road use tax balance. Mostly because we spend our entire, roads year budget right away in July. Stuff that they do all over town, so we'll have that, as the, months go on, you'll see that come down. Because we get the money kind of spread across the year, but we spend it all right up front.
Will we get enough tax dollars, gas tax dollars, to fight that?
Yeah, as long as we stay within the total, the department should be fine.
The snow removal doesn't come out of that area. but-
We try to budget for it. People in the past haven't, but we try to budget for snow removal.
But is it in the same area as road repair?
It's all in road use tax, it's all in that fund, yeah.
But we put more than our gas tax in.
That's the lion's share. The only other revenues that go into that area would be if we sell rock, if we do some type of mowing the lawns, removing snow that we charge people for, those funds would go in there. We haven't spent the whole fund, we spent the whole road repair budget.
Okay, that's what I'm.
There's
getting
still,
at.
yeah, no, there's still other funds available to cover wages, snow removal, some other minor repairs, tools, there's other budget money. It's just the big line item is always
Okay.
the chip seal, and we've spent it all.
Yeah, unfortunately, the public doesn't think we did anything unless you live on one of the blocks we did.
And
It just doesn't go as far as it used to. Not to mention, we lost population.
and that does affect this tax. The other negative that you see, we kind of touched on a little bit, Matt, last month, is the landfill garbage fund, which is negative. We're gonna have to come up with something to do. I don't think you're gonna wanna increase the charge across the board to everybody, because, we're not talking a few cents here, it would take a lot to offset it. The first step I have taken is we have a little bit of labor going into that area. We have kind of moved that around into other areas. The project that got approved at Minnow Creek allows us to move some labor into that. So I just didn't expense anything to garbage this year. It will change next year. Really, the thing that's hitting us are those tipping fees from the free items that get picked up. So I'd like to look at something along those lines, but I don't know if we're gonna be able to do it this year or.
Well, we got a new contract next year, right?
Yeah.
So it's gonna have to be addressed. The one thing that the council and myself all got caught on, when they said free item, we jumped on that. Well, it's not.
Not free
It
to
didn't take us long to finally figure out it's not free. The city has to pay the tipping fee. So,
So we dropped over $30,000 in tipping fees last year.
well,
It's
That's for applying, like picking up appliances and stuff like that, right?
no,
No,
it's your
all
one
the garbage.
free item every month.
Oh, okay.
Couch, a recliner, a
Okay.
mattress, an end table.
And she's probably right. We are probably gonna have to figure out rates and charge for those so that, as much as I hate to do that, now, we do all right if it's, appliance, if it's TV, if it's electronics, it's any of that kind of stuff, because
They have it.
yeah, and there's a fee at the landfill, but it's that quote tipping fee that nails us on those free items. I guess if my choice to, if you charge me $5 for a couch, as opposed to I have to get a pickup and put it in the pickup and take it over there and then pay a fee at the gate to get in, I just didn't pay the city garbage people $5 or $10 to get rid of it.
I
But
think
we,
you'd be surprised what the difference if you did like a $5 would make.
Would you say we paid what, over 30?
It was over $30,000 last year.
But that includes everything that gets,
And it does include everything.
That's regular garbage.
yeah.
It also includes regular garbage.
how far are we in the hole?
Was it
Or you can make
16,000?
16,293. But even on the tipping, if you recovered $15,000 in $5 fees, that would cover the,
Mhm.
or you 3/4 of it maybe. Because yeah, $5 isn't much to ask to get a big item. It's pretty cheap.
You can't, and even if it's a little item, you really can't drive over there and back for much less than that, can you?
Not unless you get 36 miles a
But
gallon.
gas, the way it is now. So,
Well, and landfill still went 65 a ton, right, for normal items.
yeah, being the city, cities get a little bit of a break on that.
I mean,
But if you put it in the back of your
Yeah.
pickup, you're paying $15. The fee to dump it.
Yeah, you're gonna pay a $15, it's a $10 or $15.
It's a $15 minimum.
So if
So you
you're
might-
putting one couch in the
You
back
gotta
of
have
your
a
pickup
full
going
load.
over and paying,
Right.
Plus fuel.
if we're charging you $5, you're money ahead doing it that way. They're gonna do the same thing. The only problem I always worry about those things is, those folks that don't make it to the landfill, they just use the farmer's ditches on the way between here and Blairstown.
They do that anyway.
They do.
They're, if they're doing that, they aren't gonna, yeah, it's just, you're gonna stop that.
Well, I'm worried about increasing,
Yeah. it's-
because they shouldn't be doing it now, they get a freebie. They can put 2 mattresses out there they have picked up for nothing. So why would you drive out in the country and dump it in some farmer's front yard? Unless it was a Hinchburger wedding.
They keep everything.
That was funny. Well, if we need to look at that, I'm more than willing to look.
We will put together our heads and figure out what we think it should be changed to and bring it to the council and the resolution.
So is water really kind of pulling itself out of a hole?
Yeah, pretty, huh?
That's truly amazing. I kept thinking you forgot the,
The
No.
I didn't.
Sandy's brilliant idea to flip the user fee over and then just us not wasting money and hiring things out. I mean, we're saving $10,000 every time we work on a water main, pretty much.
Well, figure out what you saved last week on 10th Avenue.
but that's a big congratulations to you guys, seriously, because that's,
They're doing a
I
great
haven't,
job.
since I've been on the council, I haven't seen this.
Hasn't been positive since I've been here.
Uh-uh,
I'm in my 8th year.
right? I don't want curses.
Thanks for noticing that. I didn't even want to mention it. I'm like,
No, I
just in case.
kept looking, I go.
Easy, folks, 7th Avenue.
The mayor always tells me I'm on the wrong page. I actually got it right.
Anything else on the treasurer or budget reports? Well, I'm gonna go to the city administrator.
All right. I have been working with Emily at Alliant Energy and also consulting with Eagle Point. And I believe we have fulfilled the obligations so that we can go off of the demand rate code out there, which means our electrical bills should start going down if we can get this going. And I was advised to go to non-time of day because we need to be able to run them any time of day. So we're just going to be paying for what we use. We're not going to be paying for what we might use, which is what demand rate code is. It's like, well, you might use this much and that's how much we're going to charge you. And it stinks. We should have never been on it to begin with. We were put on it. I asked them why we were put on it. And they said, well, we had a field engineer said that it was just a matter of time before we thought you'd be on it. So we just put you on it. Like we never, ever qualified to be on it. Excuse me. We have an opening in the water wastewater department. We had a resignation come out. So I've been working on dusting off the job description on that. I had Nick look it over. He recommended some changes. I'm going to work with Sandy tomorrow to get an ad put out. Mary said she'd come in and proofread. Mayor wanted to look it over. So if anybody else wants to look it over, we'd like to get it out tomorrow though. Then it'll hit the newspaper and we can get on the website and get everything posted on that for that water, wastewater.
Do you think that it's a position that needs to be filled?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
If we don't, we'll be back to where we were before. We'll just be short. And with what we have planned doing snow removal, that spot's gotta be an active spot.
So if we technically need two operators, one that's a water, wastewater two water, wastewater operators, so that if someone goes on vacation, you've got someone that's certified there. Now will we be able to find someone that's certified? Probably not, but we'll try to do our best to find someone that we believe can reach all those requirements because they're hard to reach. And Nick is scheduled to take his grade 3 test here pretty soon. So I'm excited about that. We have the DNR and a couple of consulting firms from the DNR working with us to get him. He's very close and I know he can do it. Then we'll be in full compliance. I'm supposed to be reviewing the water study with Veenstra and Kim, and I'm pushing them for a presentation in September so that we can get things moving along with that. I submitted the FEMA GenSet report today to Homeland Security. Leon's helping me through that. He's worked with these guys, so we're trying to push on that. The FEMA project on Minnow Creek is going well. Jay and I met for about 2.5 hours today to go over our next steps and what our strategies are, but we're going to try to do a rough draft basically over where we're at now and then go back and fine tune it. And then we're going to make a decision whether we're going to go south of 1st Street or go up to 8th Street and start working, or back by 10th Avenue. So it all needs done. We're just trying to figure out the smartest way to do it because we're going to have a semi haul it for us each time. We can't track that around. Also, the Norgard side has beans on it, so we're going to have to time that unless we want to buy a couple acres of beans. I don't know. I'm going to be talking with, I talked with Anders today, and I'm going to talk with the Johnsons hopefully soon to see how they feel about us, so we don't have to wait. But like I said, we have plenty of other places to go. Just depends on how quickly Jay gets that done. He has other projects he's working on, so that's a fill-in deal. And I think it's going really well. I didn't want to take up too much time. Those are kind of the broad strokes. I talked to Jack, the filter guy. He is assembling the last parts of the test filter, and we'll be sending that out so we can get that hooked up to well 6. The well fields are holding steady, but if we continue without rain, we'll probably have to turn on well 6 this fall sometime. Yeah, they're just holding steady. So just want to prepare everybody for that. Jack couldn't give me an exact date or time or whatever, but he said he'll have those last parts in soon. It's going to be on a skid, and it's going to be a really shrunk down version of a filter system, so we can see how well it filters everything out on a small scale to see if the filtration system that he has can handle what well 6 has to offer. And he's even coming up with some neat options for it that are renewable materials. So I'm excited about that, and so is he. So because our water out of well 6 is very unique. Does anybody have any questions about any of that?
I just got something, Steve, I did talk to Al today about them signs up at the bus stop. So.
The time,
Whatever we can come up, we were thinking today, because of the new bus stop at the park. You know, we're gonna have to get 2 buses in there somehow, so maybe some signage on, you know, and I'll just use examples, you know, closed during school hours or closed from, and I'm just throwing out times, you know, 7 to 8 or, you know, whatever, where the new bus stop is, because that's all city parking right there. So,
You mean close the parking, not the street.
yeah,
Just-
yeah. But Al and I was kind of talking too, the drop off and pickup. You know, how they, up at the junior high building, you know, there's several cars up there waiting for their kids. There's nowhere down there because the north side of the street is no parking. So
Where's
I was just-
Where's
the bus stop is on the north side of Williams Park. South
Yeah.
side,
there's
Okay.
diagonal parking there.
Sure. Okay.
so. I mean, because we're kind of talking this, so I wanted to bring that up real quick.
So when we talked, I said, maybe we just want to get certain times you can't park there. The only time it would really screw it up is if we had it early out, but those are, you know,
Can you allow parking on the north side for pickup only?
That's what Al and I talked about, you know, maybe getting a couple signs that say, you know, pick up and drop off.
How many,
you
yeah,
know.
because there's no vehicles on the north side ever, so the residents that are there, how many cars are on the, right next to Williams Park all the time?
3 to 4 maybe.
Gonna be a change, isn't it?
And like today, I went up there just to scout it out a little bit, and there was not one car there, you know, but I know like that Orchid truck, he was probably at work.
Right.
Yeah, in the evening when people get home or before they leave.
But you're really only talking from
You know,
7:30 to 8, and you're talking about, I'm just going by what used to be in front of my house, from about 3.
And I
10 to
talked to
maybe
Rod, because
3:40.
Rod,
Right.
you know, Rod Blunt is
Yeah.
a big part of that little route there. And he gave me some times, but I don't have them. They're on my notebook out of work. So,
Because I think even if you allowed parking on the north side of, that's 15th Street, right, between 8th and 16th.
yeah.
If you allowed parking on the north side, you could still get traffic through, because there's
it's
enough
wider.
room to where the buses can actually pull in. So if you did allow for that an hour in the morning and an hour in the afternoon, parents to park on the north side, and just that hour.
Yeah, school pickup zone only.
Because
or
that's
something.
gonna be a lot, I think, a lot safer for kids to be able to get.
Because they're gonna be running across.
Back to 8th Avenue should be.
Because at one time,
Same with
they,
no
when
parking.
they were doing the bus pickup,
That's
at
narrow.
one time on 9th
Yeah.
Avenue, they actually had that road closed while the buses were there.
I remember that.
So they tried that for a while. Now, I'm not suggesting that, but I'm just thinking, you have some options that we should look at to make it safe for the kids to get picked up. Because some parents do always wait for their kids to get them picked up.
Does that require ordinance change?
Probably would have.
Well, your assignment, Steve, you guys are gonna have to work that out, and we will push an ordinance change through, but get that for the next council meeting, is,
But would it be okay to put portable no parking on the side where the buses would go for time being?
Yeah, you could do temporary.
yeah,
That's what Lyle and I were talking about today. Until we get
And
some.
Is this school officially started?
Tuesday.
Well, we'll
Tuesday.
probably have to do a crossing there too, because there's no sidewalk on that south side. So we'll have to make a crossing from one of those driveways over to the bus stop. Because otherwise they're not gonna have a way to get there.
There is of course, there is that alley, but that's not gonna help in
There's a
winter. That's not gonna help in winter time.
There's a line.
I just mean there's no sidewalk for like in the winter time.
No. there is on Seventh Avenue that goes across 16th Street to the
Yeah.
park. There's the lines there and everything.
Sorry, I know I kind of got off track there.
Well, no, that's a good thing to bring up though,
It
because
is, but we can do temporary, but get us an ordinance written so we can do it in one shot. And
We'll have to figure out what the signs say, what we can
Yeah.
order, what the lead time is on those.
I'll reconfirm with Rod. And then give maybe a little better times for you. So if we want to do a specific time, we'll know what time.
Let me ask you this, Gage. So what if we had our own sign created with a local sign company? Do those hold water? Like if we wanted to be super specific about it and have them be larger? Or do we have to have like the DOT approved signs?
Like, I guess what specifically are you talking about a replacement sign for like a no parking sign or like
A sign that says no parking from this time to this time or this time to this time? Because signs are kind of hard to come by,
Yeah.
especially if it'd be like very specific one-off. We probably order 3 or
Talking about
4.
having Brian make some.
Yeah, so that it would be larger, just in,
Yeah, I'll have to look. I think you have to have the actual DOT official sign for, you can't replace the sign that already exists, basically. If you had a sign that you didn't have approved already, you may be able to get by with that, but.
okay. Because we could get the material, like the high-vis material and have him put a,
Right. Yeah, I'll have to look. I don't know if we can actually replace an official DOT sign with one of our own.
I'm hoping since it's a side street.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. The other thing is too is, yeah, I'll take a look.
Okay, safety in school and city and a lot involved there.
all right, you guys got plenty of assignments for the next council meeting. Anything else?
I had a question. You had brought up the possibility or threw out the idea of maybe that crosswalk, the crossing going out to Dollar General area at some point. And I was just wondering, is there going to be a walkway or a path that people can take from, say, the 7th Avenue area all the way through to Dollar General? Because I looked at it the other day.
oh, there's no sidewalk.
There is a sidewalk
there?
along to a certain point, and then it stops, and then an individual would have to go through parking lots.
It stops at the bank.
Right,
Yeah.
and then they would have to go through parking lots, and then there is a wide area where the new Dollar General sign is, it's just dirt. So if somebody wants to walk that, they're gonna have to go, right now, they're gonna have to go through parking lots. Once they go beyond the sidewalk, they're going to have to go over bare dirt and then into the new store. So I don't know if that is the city's responsibility, if that would be Dollar General's responsibility to have that, at least that one section there that is now bare dirt by the sign paved so someone can walk or take a scooter or whatever.
I guess if we had a crosswalk, we'd have to figure out where that crosswalk would go and they'd have to put a sidewalk in potentially to that crosswalk.
Okay,
So we're not crosswalk.
10, 12 foot.
probably.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I think that'd be DOT. Because they have to approve it on the crosswalk, I would.
Okay, we'll piss them off on 21 and then we'll get them on the other one.
And you're on TV with that statement.
That's all right.
Well, let me check. Pardon?
Wouldn't the sidewalk be the same way where Judy was talking about what Chelsea Bank, because the DOT did all the sidewalks, you know, with that,
Project.
wouldn't they have to have that approved for them?
Well,
I'm not sure. I think they just had
only
that-
Did the sidewalk that was in town, because there's a block or a half block on that north side that I tried to get them to put in, and we would pay, and nope, we don't touch that. That's not our
Okay.
responsibility.
I think that was a one-time deal so that they could get the
But I mean,
blocks
do they have-
updated.
You have to get approval from the DOT to put a sidewalk in next to the highway. That's what I was getting at.
I see.
If it's in the right of way or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
that's
they have the right, you know,
That could be.
Yeah, 'cause I'm sure they have the right of way.
they do. like all the signs are things. We just talked about it the other day, there's one sign I called in, they have to come and fix. It's for the fire station, so, but that's the DOT's,
You're gonna have to check on that. About sidewalk. The sidewalk itself is a responsibility of the property. Out of the city,
right.
Yeah, but if there isn't one, whose responsibility?
the property owner to put one in if we order them to.
We can't order them to.
I don't know, we've got all kinds of places in Belle Plaine that don't have sidewalks.
That's a major issue for people who want to walk to Dollar General.
Especially on that south side.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. You're going through parking lots.
Well,
That's the
you know,
sidewalk.
there's a sidewalk on the north side, so doesn't it impact everybody?
Mhm. Mhm. If you're on the south side,
Well, you would cross over to the north side and, you know,
they go back over.
yeah.
Assuming they get the crosswalk approved.
Yeah. Just a minute.
Oh boy, the DOT will have fun with this.
Hopefully that's different people.
Anything else? All right, I'm gonna make mine quick. As I reported to you last month, there was a strong chance that the Benton Iowa County Coalition would dissolve. It is officially dissolving August 31st at the request of Iowa County. I've already signed the documents creating the split, and I'll give you details some other time. But Iowa County is just making a foolish mistake. But it's to our benefit because now Kate is responsible totally with Benton County. So, I got some more information today. It was more personality conflict than it was anything else, which is a foolish reason to take part of rural coalition that was designed to have two rural counties work together economically against the Iowa City Cedar Rapids corridor. That being said, it does make my Benton County job easier. You got the Preston stuff that just came in, read through that, we'll talk about it. I'm sure she'll be in here to talk to us one of these days. What else? Oh, Belle Plaine Community Development Golf Tournament. We lost our organizer. Should I give it to Lance and see if we can put a city team together? I forgot to bring that stuff in, but you've got like a whole ton of, you gotta have a 4-person team. We made Ashley go play in it last year. She never played golf in her life.
She'll do it again, won't she?
We're making her go to the clerk's luncheon, so maybe not.
When is it this year?
I knew there was a reason I was supposed to bring that in. It's like 16th of September.
I think it'd be a good idea to give it to Lance.
Well, I'll see what Lance can organize. Usually he was a part of it, but we'll see what happens.
He loves to go.
We sprayed for mosquitoes last night, with the plan being that we have our first major outdoor activity on Friday night with the football team in their Buck Bowl. And their first 2 games are away, so they're not at home, but we'll see how it goes Friday night. If we don't have any complaints, I'm not gonna spray. If we find that first football game that we got mosquitoes, then we'll spray again. Otherwise, we'll just get by on 2 sprays.
I've not hardly seen any.
I haven't felt,
I've been down at Minnow Creek every other day, if not every day, looking at,
This
not,
has been
I haven't even
a weird year.
swatted one.
yeah, it's been really low.
Well, and as you guys know, the
It's been more
company
flies
we work
than
with
anything.
discounts it when they don't do the full 5. So they're a great company to work with, but I just thought it was smart to get a spraying in before we had any major outdoor activity. And I'd rather kill those suckers before they get here than wait till they're here and I'm killing them on my arm. Other than that, in correspondence, you have an email from one of our citizens congratulating you guys on some flexible thinking, but then I got an email from the same citizen criticizing me as not understanding anything he said in the last 6 months. So I didn't print that one off for you because I just chuckled at it because you have city code, folks.
It's a little different.
You can't just throw the code out because you want to throw the code out. And it's your responsibility and my responsibility as city officials to obey the law. And if we find our code is incorrect, then we work to change it. But we do have ways to get around our zoning laws and adapt to them. But it's like everything else in city government. It takes time. You don't get it done. I think maybe the biggest thing Lyle's probably learned in his first year in the city government is we move slow. We move fast on some things, but some things are just slow because of the paperwork.
But not on purpose. It's a thoughtful process that it's going through to make sure that we have all the information.
True.
So it's not,
But it's, you can't, I want it my way, so we're gonna do it. That's just not the way the city government works. That's not the way state, local, federal, the whole bit. So anyway, I put that in there to let you know he did compliment you on your flexibility. The other one is a letter dealing with collective bargaining, and I think we will talk with the police on one issue this fall, and I think the public workers will have a vote to see if they keep a union, but wow, because we've got a pile of public workers stuff from him. So, our guy that we hire is on this and they've sent all the appropriate things in, so that's nothing you guys have to worry about. You just have to keep your fingers crossed that we keep all our copies. That being said,
Thanks, Al.
thanks, Al.
I don't think we have a reason to go into closed session, do we? So we won't be going into closed session. So that throws off 22, 21, and 20 off your agenda. The room is now vacant I have no old business for you. The room's now vacant of residents. I compliment you on selling 2 pieces of property for a total of $10,000 tonight. Makes a little dent in the cost of taking that church down on that one property.
Yeah.
It's been so long since that house was taken down on the 7th. So with that being said, I'm looking for a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, 4-0. We will adjourn. I'm not gonna reconvene us, but we're going to the Fisher Building City Shop for a tour. So.
Have a good night, guys.
We'll see you guys.
Yeah.
Signing off here.
Yes.